off with a wild one. And Brett, why don't you walk us through what these players have picked here?
Yeah, these teams are no strangers to playing one another, but the rosters are a little different. S.A.D.B.O.I.S is fielding their Hungry Like Nephew roster with Kienoob in the midfield and Vaughn in the net, and EKC is playing Flowers midfield here, which they have done before in previous seasons. She's no stranger to the NASL stage, but this is the first time she's playing as a starter, I believe. EKC, though, they've picked a double midfield composition, and S.A.D.B.O.I.S appear to as well. However, Knowers know from scrims that is the Brawler Juno. Bells will be playing a lot more like a Brawler than a midfielder playing Juno. So we'll see how this kind of four midfield composition plays out.
Yeah, definitely pretty interesting. And big cannon blast coming out from Vaughn. Gonna make it a power play. And Soren makes one save, but Bell's able to jump in and dunk it right in the net. It will be S.A.D.B.O.I.S starting off with the first point of their season. Yeah, I just want to touch on that thing you pointed out on the compositions, because like it's this classic double midfield thing, but you have the Brawler Juno, and additionally you have Vaughn on the Atlas, you know, the normal melee lockdown goalie, really good here, but Soren opted for the Finny, didn't go for maybe the Dubu was banned or something or anything like that, but a much more aggressive pick, a much more aggressive mindset coming out from EKC, so it's definitely something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, EKC going all in on that possession for this game. Three characters that are notably very, very good at dumping their abilities to take the ball. But the issue is that S.A.D.B.O.I.S have a team composition that's just so good at scoring and taking advantage of any moments they get. As we're seeing it right now, every time Bells gets the ball, he's able to make some kind of play on the barrier on the net, and Kienoob, with his dash on Luna, that global ability with global presence, he's able to cover anywhere Soren might want to hit it, and Finny is just not able to defend such strong offense like that consistently.
Yeah, they picked up a KO in each of these points so far as well, and we'll see if they keep that train going here. We can see the B.O.I.S come out on the offense. Core flip here from Kienoob to send it around Flowers and Soren on the defense, but not able to hold it down. The barrier falls, the Crater Maker comes out, and that just goes right in. Soren not able to dodge in time. And that'll be S.A.D.B.O.I.S. A clean set one here, taking it 3-0 to start their season off.
Yeah, we're seeing about the characteristic Inky's point speed right now. Very, very fast points right now. And in this game, it's very much swinging in favor of S.A.D.B.O.I.S as 1-2 punch and bulk up, both very, very strong Juno pickups. Bell's opting for the 1-2 punch for just all-inning on that core speed, and leaving that bulk up for Kienoob to deny from the enemy forwards of EKC, as Soren is the earliest pick in their draft, and he gets a lot less value from a Stagger Awakening. Reptile Remedy is still open for NXZ to take. He'll be a lot harder to kill, but the issue is that a lot of the time they'll just be killing Flowers in the midfield anyway, and that kind of cuts EKC in half. It puts NXZD on the other side and Soren to defend 1v2, and if they get this damage comp going with Bells and Kienoob for very, very good damage and knockback presence, it's going to be very, very dangerous for EKC to play out these points. Flowers has to be very careful.
Yeah, absolutely, though. Will be EKC picking up the first barrier here. Flowers will blink up. A nice glitch pop to predict the clear there. Will be EKC taking the first point here. Hoping their luck has changed a little bit here in the second set, but we'll see if they can keep the momentum going. But classic Inky's tempo, whoever kind of controls the core for like 30 seconds usually tends to get the point.
Yeah, good read from Flowers there to score it at the end. One thing we'll notice is that, one thing we should be noticing is that EKC will have possession for a large majority of the point, but S.A.D.B.O.I.S will be getting stronger breakaways when they do get the ball. Looking at the goalies here, Finny all in on the core control, and Vaughn letting the barrier pass there. The Atlas is kind of all-inning on that defensive power, but Atlas with the primary is still good at cutting out plays before they happen. He's a very proactive melee goalie like that.
And EKC against the goalie power play right here. Kienoob has a flip available. Soren respawning now, but just in time. Kienoob flipping it in, and classic Inky. Soren spawns on the opposite side. If this was any other map, might have been able to contest that, but a nice flip there from Kienoob. We'll tie it up 1-1 here. Heading to the next point. And a quick kickoff. Immediate Blobos coming out from Bells, but they won't pick up the barrier on that go around. And EKC looking for a chance to get it past this midfield line and maybe make something happen on their own. Crater Maker coming out, it's getting dodged. XZD with the core, not able to find much. Ooh. With a nice piercing shot, though. Flowers with the glitch pop picks up the KO on Vaughn, and now it's a huge goalie power play here for EKC. trying to bring the core up to NXCD. They pop the water cannon here. Bells has a flip available, might have to burn it defensively. Still holding on to it though. Flowers into the cat cannon, but cleared up by Kienoob and Vaughn. Back online, flip from Flowers on the goal line, picks up the KO and dunks it right at EKC, bringing it to set point.
Well played from Flowers again, finding a kill, finding a second, and then with the flip, able to score that goal. It feels like a lot of people are getting killed by knockback in this game. Very close to the walls these plays are being, and it's kind of what you'd predict on a glass cannon start on a map like Inky's as well. Though, again, we're seeing it. Flowers is kind of the brawler this game. She's playing kind of far forward and finding these kills, these goals, and it's working out for EKC very effectively this set.
And now 1 point away here. NXCD about to have the flip of Flowers with the setup. Blinks right in onto the clear. And that'll be the set here. Flowers putting in big work. That set for sure. Deserved MVP. And now EKC getting their pick of the draft. Hoping to bring something back extra special for this IME. Could be a really big pickup.
One thing to look at too, though, is Luna can get a very dangerous build with that missile propulsion, as it is open for her. Having that bulk up super surge also very good to deny from the dash range on the Estelle. However, she will already be taking hot shot out of fear for Juno's core speed. Kienoob has a very, very strong knockback build here. He's already been finding him without the super surge. Now he has glass cannon and bulk up. He's 158 power right now. And with that super surge, he has an absolutely insane build for finding random kills on the side. Already strengthening what he's been good at this game, so it's something to keep track of. EKC did do a much better job at not dying this set, and they got rewarded for it. We'll see if they can keep it up.
Yeah, immediately those S.A.D.B.O.I.S here with the offense. The barrier will remain standing for EKC, though, as they bring it back around. The Crater Maker forces Soren to burn some of that valuable energy here. NXCD versus Kienoob, trying to keep the core up. NXCD looking to take over. A piercing shot sends it around behind Vaughn, picks up the barrier, and now playing this bottom corner. Bell's able to clear it out. Looking for a barrier of his own, though. The water cannon, though, is popped, sends it back up onto the offense for EKC. NXCD blinking in, but Kienoob clears it away from Flowers and looks to get it back to EKC side of the field. Soren able to strike War the Blobbo there. Send it back around to the midfield, off to Flowers. A dribble on the bottom side. Bell's jumping in, is going to be able to clear that one out. They have to look to do it again, though. Flowers blinking up. NXCD a blink to the top corner here, but not enough cooldowns, and it will be Bells rotating back around to pick up the barrier. Strike war here from Soren to keep the goal out for now, but the cannon is available. Vaughn going to turn it on here in overtime. NXCD versus Kienoob in the bottom, gets it over to Bells. Flowers making the save. Soren off to NXCD to send it up, blinking up into the midfield, drop the Rose Thorns. Vaughn able to clear it, but now Flowers in the bottom side, looking to make a play with the blink possibly. NXCD has a flip available. There's a glitch pop. Vaughn expecting it though. Core flip here from NXCD, right through the middle. Kienoob caught evading, and EKC picking up the point.
Yeah, making sure he's dodging the core there. I think he might have thought he had flipped there, looking at the energy he would have had before that evade came through. One thing we're seeing, though, is that these points have been going very, very quickly, but as soon as they don't, as soon as that overtime hits, there's a lot of core speed in this game. 1-2 punch on Juno, hot shot on Estelle, and the glass cannon start giving players a lot of power. What a find on that barrier. As soon as the points do get that overtime, the lobby will speed up a lot, and when that's the case, really it's EKC its advantage, because Finny's a lot better at covering that open space than Vaughn, right?
Yeah, absolutely, and classic Inky's played there. NXCG just set up for the water cannon. Just piercing shots it right through, and now another set point opportunity here for EKC. S.A.D.B.O.I.S in a rough situation here. They got 2 flips to work with, but a long way to go if they want to claw this set back. Pushing hard on the top side. Kienoob gets the barrier, but it's going to go down for it. Strike shot here from Vaughn, looking to buy some time for this midfielder to come back online. Pops the water cannon as well. NXCD isolated on the top side at the moment. Drops the Rose Thorns. Flowers not able to line up the blink here. Sets up the cat cannon, though, and that's going to be the barrier gone. Pass up to NXCD with a glitch pop. Kienoob trying to clear it out. The water cannon comes online. Primary here from Vaughn. Keeps the core corralled for now. NXCD in the top corner once again. Flowers covering the out clear. Blinks up maybe a little too soon, and Kienoob able to find an opening, pushing it up the field. Bell's in position to find a score, but NXCD trying to fish it out. Kienoob blocked by NXCD. Up to Vaughn here with the Rose Thorns. Vaughn having to flip. Gets it past the IME ults. Into the Finny ult here, and Soren a little bit of a miscalculation on the rotation there. Popped the Finny ult a bit too early. A bit of a Finny moment.
Yeah, Bells with a martyrdom there, sacrificing himself to put the Finny, to put the core in a situation where the detonation of the Finny ult would send it into that top corner. actually finding the play there. It was scary too, because if it didn't score right there, that would have been EKC's point and set win, because S.A.D.B.O.I.S didn't have much of a water cannon situation going on. However, they will have it now, as they have taken that barrier. Vaughn able to defend the offense from EKC here. Bells is in a situation to score it, and he does, playing off of Kienoob's nuke there.
Clean setup there. S.A.D.B.O.I.S bringing it back now, just like that. Tied at set point, 2-2. And we'll have some energy online here for Soren pretty shortly in this point as well. So EKC still an opportunity to take this one and get a lead in this game one. But no immediate barriers coming off of kickoff. NXED now with the flip available. Both teams just battling over the core. Bell's pushing up. NXED burning the flip a bit early there. Doesn't grab anything. Pushing up the field though. Flowers going to get stopped by the Atlas primary. Trying to get it around Kienoob here. Having to boost backwards to regain control of the core. Finio coming out. NXED looking for the piercing shot. Doesn't find it on the barrier. It eats the entire Luna rocket though. He's going to be having to run away for a bit. Get some health. But both teams still keeping their barriers up. Playing a bit more cautiously than we've seen before. Bell's dropping the Blobos here. Not able to make contact with the core. Soren with the core flip. Saves that one. And now core flip here from Kienoob, able to pick up the barrier. And now the water cannon online here for S.A.D.B.O.I.S. The Finio coming out. The Atlas expanse in the bottom side. There's the water cannon coming out. Flowers super hurt. Has to burn the core flip here. Will get taken out by the Crater Maker though. And now it's a power play for S.A.D.B.O.I.S. Bell's jumping up. Vaughn pushing up onto this top side as well as Kienoob hold down the midfield line up to Vaughn, who has the flip available. Dribbling it once. There's the flip right into the middle. And S.A.D.B.O.I.S will take set 3.
Yeah, stalling out the abilities from EKC there in that power play, knowing as soon as they run out of things to cut that pass to Vaughn, he will get an almost guaranteed goal with that dribble into flip. Really, they're just that extended kind of play that they had really favored them, as EKC didn't have the time to work with, as Flowers' health bar was slowly whittling down. Vaughn will pick up Prime Time as Atlas here, a very notably strong pickup for that character. And Soren isn't left with anything insane for Finny in comparison. I mean, we'll get the prize fighter, though. It's not something especially important for this game. It's more of a deny from Juno getting that power. And this draft really, really looks to favor S.A.D.B.O.I.S right now. The best thing Finny gets is Timeless Creator, and Estelle's with, like, Tempo Swing, right? No insane awakenings for EKC. The game is kind of swung in momentum here.
S.A.D.B.O.I.S definitely getting some good pickups there. For sure. This Kienoob guy, you gotta look out for him. You can't just face tank the Crater Makers anymore. That being said, EKC will pick up the first barrier here and pop the water cannon. Nice save from Vaughn to get out of the piercing shot from NXED, but a battle up in this corner. 4 bodies fighting over the core, but it will stay out of S.A.D.B.O.I.S goal for the moment. Flowers looking for the self-pass. Not quite finding it. Drops the Crater Maker. The Firewall Sentry on the bottom side here. NXED rotating up to the top side with it. Vaughn spending the primary and the expanse here. Taking a lot of damage in the process, but will get the core back onto EKC's side as Bells and Kienoob look to make something happen, but all 3 members of EKC holding down the defense, keeping it away from this barrier. Flowers now has a flip available as well. Bells jumping in. Soren, nice strikes to keep it held down. Battle over the midfield. Vaughn strike shots it away. Firewall Sentry comes out. It just floats back to Soren. Flowers and Bells both trading some blows here as we head into overtime. Flowers still looking for an opportunity to find this flip, but they just can't get the core into a good spot. Gonna burn it here on the bottom side, but the Blobos will hold it down. The expanse burns as well, but that's Bells taking off the field here. The water cannon getting used. EKC looking to capitalize on this power play. Can go up to NXED. Kienoob boost to cut the pass. Vaughn forced to flip there. Barely catches that one. Flowers to the bottom side looking for the cyber swipe. Doesn't quite find it. Now NXED back online with the flip available. Going to burn it here in the Finio, though. The expanse comes out. Nash shuts that down. Looking for the piercing shot to follow up, but doesn't find that either. Now Kienoob boosting to the bottom side. They're just having so much trouble getting it past Flowers at NXED, though. They're holding this midfield line down so well. But S.A.D.B.O.I.S defense is not budging one bit.
Yeah, and it's this overtime again with the core speed. And one thing that's very important is that EKC has their barrier still. No matter whether Kienoob flips or not, they have these resources to work with. And we saw the results of that there. The entire point, EKC had the ball. That's exactly what they drafted this team to do, to keep the ball for as long as possible and eventually score. Whittle down the resources, eventually find a situation where you can get that open space shot into the net, score on Vaughn no matter what he could potentially do, right? And we're seeing it there again, as long as they don't get blitzed down by something like a 1-2 punch Juno early in the point, which they're spending their resources to make sure it doesn't happen. it's working out for them very effectively, I think.
Said B.O.I.S able to bring down the barrier. An open goal here for EKC. Vaughn with a flip and the water cannon available here. Going to turn on the cannon right here into the Blobbo. But that's kind of taken off the map on the top side. They have the barrier, but they're fighting against the power play. S.A.D.B.O.I.S trying to commit to the offense, though. B.O.I.S drops the Blobbos here. Vaughn going to heal himself with the Atlas ults. And Kienoob back online. 3v3 once again. NXED looking to set the piercing shot. Nice expanse from Vaughn. Taking a lot of damage, though. Dodges the cyber swipe from Flowers to avoid getting KO'd here. Still has the flip available. Just keeping the core up and away. Nice Blobbo from B.O.I.S Stop Soren from clearing that out. And S.A.D.B.O.I.S going to tie up the set yet again, 1-1.
Very important dodge from Vaughn, as there wasn't actually a bumper there considering the fact that it's Inky's splash zone. So if that cyber swipe did hit, he would be dead. So it really just him not getting hit by Flowers' cyber swipe there did win them that point entirely. However, going to this one, it's already a taken barrier. Finny ult coming through. Flowers is slightly in danger, however, she did just pick up an orb. Soren does have a flip and a water cannon to work with, however, they choose not to play for it.
And flips online here. B.O.I.S gonna burn his. Takes down the barrier here. Has some Blobbos set up. Kienoob boosting in, but Soren ready for that one. Now 2 flips up for EKC. Vaughn turns on the water cannon. Doesn't get much out of it, though. Just rotates it around. Forces Flowers to burn some energy against the Crater Maker, though. As the forwards from S.A.D.B.O.I.S pushing up. Drops the rocket. Doesn't find anything there. But B.O.I.S really beat up here in this midfield. But a big boost from Kienoob. Picks up the KO. Core Flip's getting burnt here by Soren to try and fight against this power play. Flowers as well on the defense. Looking for the KO on B.O.I.S. Doesn't find it there. Soren versus Kienoob. But Kienoob with the Strike War. The reaction check. And that brings S.A.D.B.O.I.S to match point.
Yeah, Flowers is making a lot of hard reads in this game, I'm noticing, and with the dashes and the glitch pops and such. And the issue with it is that if you are incorrect as Imi on a hard read, you're kind of just out of position for a large portion of the point. You have to walk back to where you were before. And when it works especially well. We've been seeing that, but it feels like in this situation, S.A.D.B.O.I.S are kind of just correct more often, and we're seeing Flowers and EKC as a whole get punished for that.
Yeah, definitely. I got to agree with that. There's been many a time where Flowers has come in clutch for some of these placements, but also many a times where S.A.D.B.O.I.S were ready for it. That being said, the Firewall Sentry is up. Ultimate's getting dropped here. The Finny ult as well. Barrier not going down just yet. Here comes the Crater Maker, though, onto NXED. Vaughn as well, looking to punish. NXED 1 HP right now. The Blobbo's getting dropped here in the midfield. The Reptile Remedy, though, should heal him up pretty nice. Bell's still looking for this edge KO. The projectile's barely missing. They fight over now. Bells and Kienoob up to the top side. Soren with the core flip going to rotate it back around to the bottom. The Firewall Sentry is set up here as we head into overtime. Both barriers still alive. One of the longer Inky's points for sure. Vaughn on the defense versus NXED from the top side. We'll be able to clear it out through the bottom here. Kienoob with a flip available. Flowers just rotating it around now. Kienoob boosting up. Has the Blobbos from Bells helping on the bottom side, but not able to get in flip range. Going to burn it here, but doesn't quite get the angle to the top corner. That's just going to bounce right back. Finds it, though, on the return with the Luna Rocket. That opens up EKC side of the goal. Vaughn triggers the water cannon here. Going to send it in. Just send it all the way up. And NXED caught in the cannon as well. Now it's a power play for S.A.D.B.O.I.S. Kienoob with a shot to the top. Soren hits the Soren angle. What a clear to keep it out. The Crater Maker coming in. Point not able to be found just yet, though. 2 seconds till NXED is back. Bells up to Kienoob, up to the Blobbo. NXED back online. Makes a save here, but Vaughn still keeping the pressure up. Pass up to Kienoob, boosting in with the rocket. The Blobbo from Bells sends it right to the bottom. And S.A.D.B.O.I.S will take map 1.
Yeah, a very, very volatile game, really. It felt like both teams were dominating at certain different stages of that game. Eventually, S.A.D.B.O.I.S did eke it out there with I think especially what I was noticing is Kienoob was putting a lot of presence on the map. With that Super Surge flip, he only got 1 kill with it, but a lot of the time he had the option to, and I was seeing EKC play their players in a much less effective position just due to the threat alone that Kienoob could go for it, right? And that was giving them so much space, especially in that last set, that they were able to work with, and really cutting off EKC's space is exactly what you need to counter a team comp where they've drafted 3 characters that want to cover as much space as possible, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, we saw that that Brawler Juno definitely did a lot of that, just cutting off all kinds of angles, just putting literal obstacles just on the field. They were just such a hindrance when they needed to be, but Kienoob as well, moving around the field, picking up some much-needed KOs. 7 KOs total here from S.A.D.B.O.I.S, though. EKC did get 6. Flowers picking up 4 herself. So, definitely a much closer game than it initially started to be. And like you said, both teams, at one point or another, seemed to have a pretty solid upper hand, but ultimately S.A.D.B.O.I.S were the ones to close it out. Now, I don't think we know which, at this current moment, which map Game 2 is going to be played on, but I'm sure we'll see in just a second here. But Inky's is definitely a interesting map. It is one of the more volatile maps for sure. So we tend to get those games that can go, they can go very back and forth. They can also be very one-sided. And this was just one of those back and forth ones. So I guess depending on what map we see next, we'll see what characters come out again. But
Right, I'm noticing a lot of double midfield today. It's
yeah,
very, very
true.
frequent team comp I'm seeing. Even if it's not exactly double midfield, like 2 people playing in the midfield line, it is the brawlers picking a character that is able to play midfield at least a little bit, like a Juno. Even if you're playing Juno Brawler, it is still Juno. Or an Estelle, right, from an XVD. And one thing that kind of where that comp falters is when you're playing into a team with a strong defensive backline, right? If you're playing 2 characters who rely on strikes and possession to score, a character like Atlas or a character like Dubu or a strong melee goalie will kind of be able to shut that down without that strong checkmate potential. And we saw a bit of that last game. We'll see if that continues as EKC tries different team comps out in the rest of the series. If they don't lock in something like a Juliet or an X or a traditional brawler, then they're going to have to find a different answer to be able to score on Vaughn, right? Because that Atlas, we were seeing it there. It's really hard to score on the Atlas. All the times barriers were dropping where when, say, he was walking a little far forward and they were able to punish that with the core speed, right?
And he got monumentalist that game too as well.
He
So
did.
even when they were like had like an open goal situation, you kind of expect these double midfielders to be able to rotate it around this stationary guy. He just uses that expanse and it kind of just takes up the entire net. So it's like this massive safety button that can really just shut a lot of stuff down and let the forwards take over to help clear it out. So I mean, Atlas kind of has just been a staple in the recent days as far as I've been aware. So it's definitely, it's like you said, it definitely makes it difficult for a lot of teams to get past these goalies.
Yeah, it looks like it's a Gates of Obscura game for game 2.
All right.
Uh, it's peak performance and stacks if Cliff is telling the truth. um, which is an
Mm.
interesting start for Gates, for sure, by the way, because Gates, at least in my opinion, is an interesting map because it's both the most open map in the game in terms of passing and space, but it also has that corner stuffing because of the barrier shape. Unlike a map like Auten, where it's open but the barrier is super easy to take, you don't have to commit any of your team's kind of power budget to taking that barrier and running strong offense. On Gates, you kind of do want that, but you also want to be able to cover that open space because the portals open these passing angles that you can't otherwise cover as effectively, right? It's a very complicated map to draft for, and we'll see how both these teams kind of try to address that because, again, a double midfield comp, it's not unlikely here, will have that open space presence, but with the corner stuffing, it's even harder to take Gates barriers than it is to take the Inky's barrier. So we might see a similar situation where that defensive power from S.A.D.B.O.I.S really shows itself.
Yeah, especially I think we're looking at like the bans and stuff as well. I mean, there's no like it's Dubu Atlas. Oh, looks like oh here's the draft actually already up. So yeah, I mean now got banned, and it's Dubu for boys. See Dubu Luna Juliet for boys versus what's that? Kai Estelle Rasmus for EKC. So EKC still not going with the the traditional melee goalie, even if it is like Rasmus goalie, right? It's still like, which it probably won't be. It'll probably be Kai goalie,
Yeah,
right?
the
They're still
Kai.
going for that. Yeah, they're still going for that aggressive, like ranged goalie. But boys with the Dubu, I mean, that guy holds it down. I think, especially on this map, like stuffing it past them in the corner is going to be extremely difficult.
S.A.D.B.O.I is historically very, very good at defending versus a team like Estelle Erasmus, a forward duo like that. An infamous forward duo for being very good at both breakaway 1v1 plays and also possession. But the issue is that S.A.D.B.O.I doesn't really falter to either of those. He's very good at holding down 1v1s. He's good at locking down these non-checkmate scenarios. And EKC is drafting for that kind of situation, right? Also, again, Kienoob on the Luna. I've heard very good things about S.A.D.B.O.I.s performance with the Luna recently. They've been liking it a lot. They've been picking it very frequently and doing well on it. I believe, again, just with the covering of Kienoob here, it's going to be really, really awkward for Soren to play defense versus B.O.I.S playing his normal kind of style on the Juliet, the signature Juliet pick, as well as Kienoob with, again, that global coverage, what Luna's so good at.
Man, this is Pauldron's Dubu as well, so just doubling down on being big and sitting in the corner. And we'll see what this forward duo of EKC can do as well. We'll see how much impact Soren's able to have on this Kai as well, because that's really what you're looking for is offensive impact when you pick a goalie like this. I mean, he's been playing up at this midfield line basically the entire match, only just now falling back to the crease when the core even gets close. So we'll see what kind of impact we're getting here, but Kienoob with the boost will pick up the first barrier here for S.A.D.B.O.I.s. Back past to Vaughn, gets it around, looking to pass up to Bells. Giga Blast from Soren clears it out as we go through the portal. And now Bells in the corner, looking for an opportunity to maybe find a dash punch, but core going to slip away from him a little bit here. Vaughn going to somersault back, pick that up, NXED with the death touch into the top corner. Core flip here from Vaughn, clears it out. We head into overtime. Flowers right behind NXED, just keeping the core up. They'll pick up one barrier themselves here. Soren looks like a bit of a miss angle there. The barrier will fall. Growth available here for Kienoob. Burns it here, sets up the Crater Maker. Sends it backwards, though. Oh, my. Gets his own barrier. NXTD wins the strike war.
The self-destruct button there.
Yeah, a bit of the self-destruct button from Kienoob, a little bit.
The unfortunate, the flip into reverse nuke, and then immediately NXTD able to convert off of that. That is something that's actually very good to have in a brawler, is the that scramble situation. Being able to convert off of these weird, random situations. NXTD is very good at that. Very good at finding a strong play out of a strange situation. And, I mean, in Omega Strikers, a lot of weird stuff happens. So having a brawler who's able to convert off that is very good. We'll see if that continues to happen, though. Versus a fundamentally sound team like S.A.D.B.O.I.s, it's not going to be something you can rely on, right?
Yeah, it's always, you always got to play to your strength. You can't necessarily always rely on the other team making mistakes, but of course you got to capitalize when they do. But nice textbook play here. Bell's able to set up the 50-50 and takes the top side. S.A.D.B.O.I.s quickly recovering to tie up the set 1-1 now, and hopefully trying to take a bit of a lead here as we go into the third point. Kienoob up through the portal, going to boost down, but gets picked off by Flowers' piercing shot. Will pick up the barrier, though. Now Vaughn fully committing to that offense. Dropped the Tofu Fortress to just buy some time before falling back to the crease. 3 seconds left on the Kienoob respawn timer. Vaughn has a flip available. S.A.D.B.O.I.s getting out of this power play unscathed for the most part. Kienoob a pass down to Vaughn, sends it back up to Bells here. Soren able to send it away. Of course, slipping away back at the top side. The Crater Maker coming out, sends Flowers through the portal as Bells brings down the second barrier. Soren up to NXED, trying to find something to trade. The somersault goes wide, and the barrier will fall, but more importantly, Kienoob is down. Vaughn with the flip available, has to burn it there. NXED, though, blocks a shot and brings down the barrier. Soren pushing up on the bottom side. The Tofu Fortress coming out for that, but Bells with the strike war wins. Flowers makes the save, but it doesn't matter. Bells able to find the core again and bring it to the bottom. And that is S.A.D.B.O.I.s bringing it to set point.
Soren, yeah, gambling the entire point on that strike war there and not successfully taking it. I was going to point out, by the way, is that S.A.D.B.O.I.s have 2 stacks on stacks picks, one of them Kienoob, one of them Vaughn. While Kienoob is not impossible to kill, as you can punish those dashes with an Estelle primary or Erasmus primary, and you can also play solid damage on him with Kai's like Giga Blast to support it. It's really hard to kill Vaughn this game. He has 150 stacks, I don't think he's going to lose it for the rest of the set. He's going to have that very, very high speed as well as the pauldron size. It's really, really hard to... He can cover so much space just by walking and left-clicking, right? And it's very annoying to deal with a goalie that can do something like that as effectively as S.A.D.B.O.I.S can.
Yeah, we're seeing him just take these offensive trades up by the midfield. Somersaulting a little far, gets a nice angle though, and it won't... Barrier won't go down for that one. Bit of a 3v3 scrum in this bottom corner. NXAD with the whiplash up will be able to get it past Vaughn and open up S.A.D.B.O.I.S goal. Vaughn with the dribble, a pass up to B.O.I.S. Nice shot through the middle there, but it gets back to NXAD after the goal opens. A pass up to Flowers here. B.O.I.S dash punch through the portal, goes through to follow it up. Kienoob with a flip available. Nice pass to B.O.I.S, split the uprights. And B.O.I.S had a wide open shot to the bottom there. Nice vision from Kienoob to find that one. And that will be the set for S.A.D.B.O.I.S.
Yeah, EKC very disastrously let their possession slip there at the end, I think. This is the kind of team comp where if you're losing possession versus S.A.D.B.O.I.S, it has to be to something. You have to make them spend something on their possession take from you, because if they don't, then they have their Luna Dash, right? They have their Luna Dash on their offense, and that is almost a win condition for them. You want to make them spend that dash, probably the most important ability in this lobby, in order to take the ball from you so they don't have it in that offensive situation. So they don't have all these resources to work with. And this draft, really there's one massive highlight, and it's that S.A.D.B.O.I.S gets built different and the size from Among Titans. You can see how massive he is already. It's not easy for Rasmus to score when he's outsized like this. It's actually one of the things he's worst at, and we're seeing the consequences of that as all three of the S.A.D.B.O.I.S just march the ball forward, left-clicking, flipping, spending their cooldowns on the net, almost even killing the players of EKC while doing so, right?
Yeah, that was kind of aura. Literally just Vaughn on kickoff, just walking up and just literally mogging the core all the way into the goal. It's kind of crazy. Looks like they're not going to do that immediately here. But yeah, just a testament of how much of a wall this S.A.D.B.O.I.S really is. The S.A.D.B.O.I.S, though, are going to go down one barrier here. Kienoob really beat up as well here in the back line. NXAD picking up the second barrier, opening up the goal. Pass down to Soren through the portal, off to Flowers. NXAD in the bottom corner. The barrage comes out as well, has the whiplash up. Looking for a shot to the middle, but Vaughn just so big, able to cover so much space as well with the stacks. It's really hard to score, and they'll pick up a barrier here. Vaughn walking up, not afraid, even with the open goal, letting Kienoob just kind of be the backline for a bit. With the flip available now. Waits out NXCD's kits. Gets it up to B.O.I.S here with the punch. Opens up the goal. There's the flurries.
Oh.
And that's going to be a KO, though. Kienoob picking it up. And now B.O.I.S in the top corner. Soren makes a nice save, but Vaughn down to Kienoob. Back up to Vaughn in the corner with the somersault. Flowers with one strike war, but Vaughn sends it back to Kienoob. The Giga Blast comes around. And Kienoob too small. Can't reach it. What a snipe from Soren. And that's going to be 1-1.
Maybe if he had like 2 more stacks, 2 more pancakes, he could have caught that, but the Among Titans size reduction made him not able to get it, and he didn't have his dash to work with either. Soren finding a great Giga Blast, able to punish S.A.D.B.O.I.S for walking up so far for so long on their offense there.
That's how you find it, but definitely a gutsy play from S.A.D.B.O.I.S walking up with an open barrier like that. But here's Vaughn again, just way up on the offense, letting Kienoob pull down this midfield line. Has the flip available, going to use it, looking for the second barrier, but Soren able to block now. B.O.I.S sending it up with the flurries. That'll bring it down. The Tofu Fortress coming out offensively as well. Kienoob off to B.O.I.S, but he goes back through the portal. Vaughn still holding down this midfield line here. B.O.I.S in the corner. Here comes the Crater Maker. Soren taking damage. Vaughn somersaulting up. Flowers able to get the core barely around B.O.I.S. Talking pixels right there. Now Kienoob boosting in, hits Soren. A pass up to B.O.I.S. What a setup. And Kienoob and B.O.I.S for S.A.D.B.O.I.S. Bring the point and bringing them to that point. That
is exactly what you're scared of here, EKC. If S.A.D.B.O.I.S get that offense rolling and they have Luna's dash, there's so many things they can do. There's so many different ways they can play that out, and you have to cover all of them at once, and you just can't do it. You just have to hope that you're choosing the one that they're choosing at the same time, and Kienoob is such a good player that it's impossible to save his kind of possession every single time there. And again, we're seeing the way S.A.D.B.O.I.S are playing this out. They're just marching it into the corner. They're having Vaughn play this corner and B.O.I.S play the out clear on it. And Kienoob just sitting back, able to cover anytime the ball goes through. They're putting Vaughn where the midfield would be, right? On this corner offense setup because he's massive and he's fast, right? the midfield is able to do all that because you're picking midfielders to be massive and fast here. But in this case, it's the goalie, so they just put him there instead and have Kienoob cover the open space. It's working out very effectively for them. We see them take the set right now, and there's 2 size awakenings in this draft. You can't deny both. However, you can take the Rampage now if you're Soren, if you're really scared of SA.D.B.O.I.S getting it, and I personally would, because... Okay, they have an XED take it, as Vaughn doesn't take it there. We'll see what Vaughn goes for here, team player.
Yeah, that's kind of the awakening I was eyeing a little bit, but yeah, choosing to wait and kind of make this Rasmus choose, I guess. But it will be a little bit of a breath of relief for NXED here, but that is 2 stacking awakenings on NXED. So if he does ever go down, it's going to feel really bad for sure. But this team player as well is just going to make a... Now they have the core speed on their side as well, so S.A.D.B.O.I.S definitely the ability to continue to march at this goal. In fact, Bell's able to open it up right here. Kienoob looking for another center pass up to Bells. And they just keep finding this setup where Bells is just in between Flowers and Sword, and Kienoob just finds the pass right to him, and they just can't outpace him, and he just finds a shot to the top side. S.A.D.B.O.I.S being really consistent on that play, and so far it's showing pretty well.
Yeah, and it doesn't feel right to get outpaced as Estelle Rasmus versus a team that has Dubu and Luna, right? Those 2 characters are not as good at covering that open space as long, right? But we're seeing S.A.D.B.O.I.S play these long offenses, play these long possession sequences, and really it's kind of the exact opposite of the way you'd expect this game to go. However, when they do get the ball in the corner, it is exactly what you'd expect, as they are able to run it down, take the barriers, flip and score, as consistently and effectively as they've been doing this game.
Yeah, they have assured dominance in the corners, but they've also just taken up so much of EKC's map space. I mean, here they are again. Look, they're just all confined to this corner. EKC have absolutely no breathing room at all. And now Vaughn has a flip. Kienoob's about to have a flip. And they're just stuffing that corner. Vaughn's not even there. Vaughn's like AFK by the portal, just waiting for the out clear. Gonna send it through the portal here. Kienoob not able to find the core flip though. We'll have to get a little bit of defense going here for S.A.D.B.O.I.S as EKC try to make something happen here. And Vaughn just knocking Flowers off the map down to Kienoob here. The barrage spent a pass up to Bells, who finds it to the bottom side. And S.A.D.B.O.I.S taking the series, closing it out really strong there on that game too.
Absolutely. That was, I think we were seeing, just in draft alone, the power of a lot, every single pick on S.A.D.B.O.I.S, even the starting awakenings they picked, were showing their strength in that game. Kienoob was covering pretty much every open space the moment that EKC got the ball clear. Bells was able to convert off the corner. He was constantly scoring every time he got the ball. And Vaughn, again, as soon as he got that stacks and stats among Titans built different, he was able to play that suffocating corner offense pretty much every single point. Like, every single point they were able to do that exactly as they wanted, and it felt like EKC didn't have any answers for that. And honestly, if I was playing in their position, I don't know what I would do either. It's not the kind of team comp that is suited to play versus something like this. The only thing you really can do is have possession for the entire game, and that's not really something you can reasonably expect versus another NASL team.
Yeah, I mean, I might describe that as suffocating, really, especially toward the later end there. You're expecting to have some kind of space to work with and have to play around that, but once S.A.D.B.O.I.S had their speed and they had this, they had Kienoob on the Luna just absolutely holding it down in the midfield, they just took all that space, as well as just kept the corner pressure going the whole time, and there was just nothing EKC could even do at that point. But that was that. I don't know what series that was for the day, but that was that series.
Series 3.
Series 3. Thank you. That was Series 3. Next up, we got a Return to Form and Heavy Metal Gundam coming up. So we're going to throw it to a quick break while we wait for the teams, and then we'll be right back with some more NASL in just a bit.